Hiya, and welcome back to Tennis Ace. The game that teaches us that this number down here that I'm above will continue to go up. I don't know. Anyways, let's just hop right in. Oh, fuck, I can't remember which one it is. I think it's this one. Time to busy myself. I can't let Keisuke be the only one working hard. Oh god, I remember that. Yeah, I told him to fucking die. Yeah, told him to fucking die because, like, you know, the, break a leg thing? Yeah, that. Sighing, I put away the tools I had on hand back in the maintenance closet, having lagged behind today from being assigned to cleanup duty. It wasn't until a year or so ago that I realized the reason I get picked for it so rarely was due to teachers showing me favoritism. What with how they expect me to be rushing to practice the moment the bell rings. Little do they know that on days like today, I actually appreciate being picked for it. It's an easy thing I can do to kill off a few minutes on my day on an otherwise hectic schedule. With summer break approaching fast, everyone's rushing to get things done in time for it. Students and teachers alike desperately trying to cover all materials, assignments, and tests so they don't have to worry about it. And it's not just them either. The club's now preparing for their activities during vacation. Seems like everyone is in a hurry. Last I heard, the astronomy club was planning some kind of camp up the mountains a couple hours away for its members so they can see the stars. The sports club, like football and basketball, on the other hand, are preparing to go on summer training camps together with other schools so they can practice extra long. I'm a little jealous I haven't gone on a camp like that in, God, what has it been, 5 or 6 years? There aren't exactly many tennis courts lying around, and most students at this level aren't affiliated with their school clubs, instead practicing in private facilities. The whole logistics of organizing a tennis training camp is a bit iffy. It was much easier when we were kids. I've had so little time to myself lately, and everyone else I know has been the same. It's gotten to the point Shoichi, Saya, and Keisuke all didn't show up to lunch today, with Shoichi having also flaked on Tuesday, Saya on Monday, and Keisuke having only shown up once yesterday. Suffice to say, life is a little more than hectic right now, particularly for us seniors. Because of that, the small break is appreciated, even if it's not so much a break as it is chores. Joke's on them, I like chores! Are you done on your end too? Already finished our part too, so we're heading out. Bye-bye, Michimiya-kun. Oh yeah, I'm all good here, bye-bye. I guess that's that then. All I had left to do was put away the cleaning supplies after mopping the hall, and I just finished that. And I should probably hurry, don't want to be too late for practice. List of things I need to work on is nigh endless. If I want to have any chance at winning my all-final Japan youth, I need to be in top shape. I made a big show when talking to Shoichi earlier this year about how it wasn't just another year. Even if it was my final one in the league, it wasn't a big deal, but now that it's actually here though, only the last tournament of the year staring at me in the face, I'm suddenly way more torn about this than I thought I would be. I should look for Keisuke and have another training set. Sets we ran last week really helped get a better feel for how to handle players like him. Little bet thing notwithstanding. Of course, Keisuke has been my practice partner for a while now, but I still keep finding little tweaks I can make here or there. Seeing how he adjusts to me lets me get an idea of how someone like Tanabe might also adjust. And it helps me anticipate several different ways the match can go. Never been one to play all brainy and smart, like more of a me hit ball, me strong kind of person, but sometimes it can be helpful. Someone like Saya might call me a troglodyte, but it's a badge I wear with pride. Once I've gotten dressed and warmed up, I look around the building for any signs of familiar white hair, but fail to even spot him. Confused, I approach one of our juniors, whom I know is in the same class as him, to ask about it. The smaller Martin's ears twitch at the sound of my approaching footsteps, with him turning his head to face me before I can say hello, looking away from the drill he'd been working on. Sorry to distract you, Miura-kun. Is Keisuke not here yet? No, I haven't seen him today. I think he had a different club activity to go to, though, so I'm heading into the adjacent building on my way here. Oh, that's so? I see. Sorry for distracting you. It's no problem. I'm working on some quick dashing workouts, trying to build up the explosive impulse to get more acceleration when chasing after the ball. I was going to ask someone to play a few sets with me. If you don't mind, could you play with me a little, senpai? I blink a few times, surprised by my junior's earnest request. I feel like I'm used to it. Classmates, juniors, freshmen, I tend to get lots of people asking me to run sets with them when they first join the club. Once they learn of my policy of practicing alone, and after being turned down a fair few times, they usually stop asking. Remember Hayato-kun being one of the more insistent freshmen when he first joined last year, losing only to Keisuke, but he eventually stopped. Then again, after getting to practice with Keisuke for a while, as well as getting my head unstuck from my ass, I've come to see how overly negative that attitude has been. Like it or not, I'm their upperclassman, someone they look up to. Constantly refusing their requests because there's nothing in it for me is far too cold. Maybe it's just me getting sentimental after realizing how close I am to graduating. I get it, okay. Please stop looking at me with those eyes full of expectation, it hurts. Okay, how's 2 sets sound to you? The Martin's eyes go wide, seemingly caught by surprise that it accepted at all. Wait, really? Yeah, I've been way too closed off for the past few years. Can't let myself graduate while being such a failure of a senior that I can't nurture my underclassmen a little bit. Thank you, Michimiya-san! No problem, let's go look for an empty court. The smaller Martin follows me to an unused court on the opposite side of the gym. Even with as many as we have here, it's not unusual for us to run out of space. Players running drills not requiring the use of a net usually do them outside the courts or bounce a ball against a wall for practice, while those who do need it tend to split the courts in half vertically. As for those running sets, they tend to rotate out every so often as everyone has a chance to use them. Because up until early this year, I didn't run sets with anyone and mostly ran drills by myself. I managed to avoid these problems most of the time. Not gonna lie, it's a bit of a pain. I had to deal with these kinds of problems way less often while assigned to a private club. But then again, that's to be expected. Okay, let's do some passing drills first to warm up. You good with that? Yes, sir! Okay, let's see how this goes. I'll take this as a chance to gauge what level our juniors are at. Hayato-kun was the only other guy to qualify for the Kanto Regionals this year, so you can't be that far below Keisuke. Though it is pretty sad that no other seniors other than me managed to make the cut on the guys' side. The girls really are doing way better. Let's start. You can have the first serve if you want. Are you sure? Of course, it's no skin off my back at all. Okay then, here I go! Getting the ball way ahead of time, I have more than enough leeway to properly plant my feet on the ground, moving my body like a whip to transfer as much momentum into the little ball as I can, hitting a decisive shot that quickly zooms past the hapless raccoon. No way! And that's a set. You did good, Kawagami-kun. I approach the net to shake the dejected raccoon's hand, but his shoulders drop as he clasps mine, looking down at his feet. I lost 6 love, though. That can't be helped. You're only a freshman after all. I want to notice, your footwork could use some work. You're late to come to a stop when running, and there's a time lag after you hit a ball before you start running the other way. Not only that, it leaves you so pressed to get back that you strangle yourself out of breath. Other than that, you should probably work on your backhand more. It's not unusual to have one stroke be better than the other, but your backhands are too much of a weakness to be exploited. I scored way too many points out of forcing you to make errors by hitting towards your backhand. And it goes without saying, but you can't freak out every time the ball comes at you. I also scored way too much from aiming at your feet and catching you by surprise. That's a lot. None of it are things you can fix overnight. You just have to work on it little by little. Your foundation is good, but if you can plug those holes, you can stop playing defensive and have more space to focus on developing your game plan during a match. Anything more than that, though, I'd need to observe you more. There's only so much I can glean from a single set. At that, the timid raccoon straightens his back, looking me in the eye and nodding. Of course! Thank you so much for the opportunity, Michimiya-senpai. Don't mention it. Now, who's next? Turn to the small crowd that had formed since my set with Hayato-kun. Apparently, me running sets with someone was such a surprise that people started crowding around us looking for a chance to watch and maybe ask me for advice. It wasn't totally unexpected since the same happened when I first picked Keisuke as a practice partner, but this time I actually decided to entertain the requests. I cut my promise to Hayato-kun short, and we only ran a single set so I'd have a chance to play against more people. But even then, it's been pretty tight. I barely get a chance to catch my breath from one set to the other. At the end, Hayato-kun asked me to give him some advice, and so much of it poured out of my mouth that I even surprised even myself. From there, it evolved in some kind of routine where I play them for a set and give them tips on what to work on, what their weaknesses are, etc., etc. It only occurred to me sometime between the 6th and 7th set that this isn't too different from what Saya-chan does for the girls. It's only been guys coming to me. I guess girls have already been sorted out before now. God, I really have been an awful senior this whole time. Me? Yeah, sorry, can I speak to Yuichi for a minute? You guys can get back to your sets after. Of course, Captain. Saya? I didn't see you there. Were you in the middle of the crowd? Yeah, I noticed you guys a little while ago, but I was also running sets of my own, so I didn't have a chance to talk to you until now. Don't think it'd be this hard to get a hold of you, though. Boys are loud. I probably would have noticed you, but I haven't exactly been looking at the crowd much. How could you? You were playing. True. So what is it you wanted to talk to me about? Well, I mostly wanted to check what the hell is going on. I mean, it's great you're taking an interest in helping out the guys, but this isn't exactly usual for you. I guess so. I don't know. I guess I got some perspective lately. Besides, playing them and giving them advice has been surprisingly helpful for me. Getting into that headspace of analyzing others and figuring out what could use improvement also led me to look inward and realize a few things I needed to work on as well. Even if they're not as strong or high-ranked as me, they can still throw out shots or strategies I can't expect. And those can help me notice issues in how I react to things. things that could always pop up in real matches. So in a way, this is also beneficial to me. Then again, this kind of thing, pluses and minuses outlook is pretty deplorable, so I didn't want to think of it too much. I just want to make up for how shitty I've been the past 3 years. I heard some of the advice you've been giving. Don't take this the wrong way, but I don't think you were so insightful. Yeah, I didn't either until now. Guess it's not easy to realize how much you know and how much you notice until you start rattling it all off and realize how much you have to say. And it's just like you'd only start doing the thing I've been asking you to do for months after I've pretty much given up on it happening. Yeah. Sorry about that. It'll be fine with me as long as you keep it up. I plan to. I mean, I can't do it all the time. I have to run my own drills and focus on my practice, but maybe a few days a week wouldn't be too bad. Gotta become a respectable senior sometime before I graduate if I don't want them talking to future freshmen about how much of a dick their vice captain was, right? That's what you're thinking of? Among other things. Yuichi. Kidding, I'm just kidding. Well, mostly anyway. You worry me sometimes, but so long as it gets done, I guess I shouldn't care why you're doing it. Look around a bit, grabbing Saya by the arm and pulling her a little further away from the guys chatting near us, so as to make sure they don't hear me saying something that could hurt their self-confidence. I have to say, though, maybe we should run some more intense drills. Hachi-kun was okay, I guess, but for the level for the other juniors and freshmen is surprisingly low. When I say that, Saya's face contorts for a brief second before she turns to me in the eye with a stony, unreadable expression. You're seriously saying this to me now? After months complaining that I'm too Spartan? You do live with your head in the clouds, don't you? How the hell have you not noticed? That's what I've been trying to do for months! Sorry. Either way, you're free to do whatever you want. I just wanted to say I was happy you were doing this. Coach is too. You guys have been approaching him after their sets with you to ask what they should work on based on your advice. I'm sure, but I'm surprised he hasn't given them that advice himself. The old geezer is surprisingly insightful himself. You only say that because you've been intentionally seeing him in the worst possible light, despite all evidence to the contrary. Only one more example of how pig-headed boys can be. Sorry, I take it to mean that's been a recurring issue. Boys being pig-headed? Yeah. I've seen several of them ignore coach's advice because they wanted to work on a different aspect of their game and thought that was more important, or didn't think his critique was that bad. Not to mention that while there are some things you can only notice as an outside onlooker, there are others you only catch if you play against them yourself. That's how we've been handling things with the girls anyway. I see, that makes sense. Well, gotta keep the old man on his toes. Besides, his advice to me was really helpful during the last competition, so I guess I see him with different eyes now. I still think he's a little lazy, but not all that bad, which is probably the most positive I've ever been when it comes to him. Man, I really am an ass, aren't I? Well, if you don't mind, I have to get back into it. Sure, don't forget to take breaks, though. How many sets have you already played? That was the 9th, I think. You need a break! It's okay! These aren't much of a workout, to be honest. Not trying to be mean, just, yeah. Besides, I have to work on my stamina, so letting myself be forced to my limits is good for me. Just don't collapse or anything. I can't carry your heavy ass to the infirmary if you do. I won't. And rude. Anyway, I'll get out of your hair. I wasn't going to do it today, but the girls have been asking me to play with them too after they saw you, so I have to get back too. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, I'll take this as a chance to take a sip of water and get back to it. Alright then, you, Utagawa-kun, was it? It's your turn. Coming! The short black boar that had been interrupted by Saya earlier pipes up, stuttering on his words ever so slightly as he rushes to place on the court. Quickly put the lid back on my bottle before walking back. You know the drill, let's start by passing for a bit so you can get warmed up and then we'll get into it. Yes, thank you for the opportunity. Don't mention it. Sometime later. By the time I've properly cleaned myself and left the building, the sun was already beginning to set. I could tell the other guys were a lot rowdier today, coming up to me in the locker room and making conversation, thanking me for the help earlier and everything. It's like some kind of invisible barrier's been taken down or something. Well, it was a bit disconcerting to have so many people come to me while I was trying to get changed. Even more so when they'd casually undress in front of me like it was nothing. Which I guess it is nothing, but it's so far from what I'm used to that I couldn't help but feel a tad awkward. At least I'm getting more used to it. I suppose being in denial about the fact that I liked looking at the half-naked jocks didn't help with my discomfort even one bit. While walking outside, I pull out my phone, checking my messages to see if there has been anything I missed. Other than a few texts from Mom telling me she'd be home late tonight, there wasn't much of importance. I was hoping Keisuke might have said something since he didn't show today, but he seems quite busy lately, so I won't bother him. Bye-bye, Senpai, see you tomorrow. Thanks again for today. The Martin passes me by while I stand around looking at my phone, quickly calling out to me and calling me back to the real world. Oh yeah, sure, see you tomorrow, Miura-kun. The others also chime in with similar words, all smiling at me as they do so. Won't lie. It feels kinda nice. Also, wow, I never noticed before, but some of my underclassmen are seriously cute. Maybe I should tell Keisuke about that. We have talked pretty openly about what kinds of people we find attractive, so he might be amused by it. Besides, you did promise to explain the whole situation with me and my feelings for Tanabe to Keisuke at some point, didn't I? Since he asked me about that, I've taken some time to reflect on it. I realized I nearly forgot to actually tell him about it. I should make a mental note of it so I don't forget again. I also mentioned wanting to tell our friends about our relationship too. I'll ask him about it again the next time we talk. Maybe we could tell everyone the next time we all get together for lunch. Then again, I might be getting ahead of myself. Keisuke and I barely talked about it. Mostly mentioned it in passing when he was almost falling asleep. I'd have only agreed with me to shut me up. But that's neither here nor there. I should stop standing around doing nothing like I'm spacing out or something. The market a few blocks from here is having a sale on meat today, if I remember correctly. Maybe a small grocery run before heading home wouldn't be the worst idea. Yeah, I'll do just that. Maybe I can make some of the oyakodon Aki likes. I'm sure he'd be happy about that. Finished setting the clean plates and utensils in the drying rack, cleaning my hand with a cloth and wiping down the counter before setting it down, having finished with my chores for the night. True to her word, Mom hasn't shown up yet, so it's only Aki and I having dinner. I still set a portion aside for Mom like I usually do every night, as well as made both mine and Aki's lunch boxes for school tomorrow, so I can finally settle down a bit. By the way, Aniki, how's Keisuke-san? Keisuke, he's fine, why do you ask? Well, he stayed here for a while because he was having issues with his family, right? So I was curious to hear if things have gotten better now that he's back home. Oh yeah, I guess that's true. I don't think things changed all that much. Keisuke's family is a little different from usual. Like, they're bad? It's probably a little more complicated than that. They just don't treat Keisuke well. Let's leave it at that, okay? Okay. I don't feel like trying to think of an age-appropriate explanation of how complicated Keisuke's home life is. If in part because I don't fully understand it myself. Plus, I'd rather Aki grow up believing that family takes care of each other, if only for a little while longer. I don't need my little brother turning into a cynic at the age of 12. Surprised you even asked in the first place, though. You barely know Keisuke. He did stay here for a while. Besides, he's your boyfriend, right? And you seem like you actually like him. Why wouldn't I ask about him, then? I suppose it's just the whole introducing a boyfriend to everyone thing that is pretty new to me. So, is being in a relationship with someone you like uncalled for? I mean, yes, but still, uncalled for. I haven't really seen Keisuke-san since the day dropped you by after the competition. You guys aren't fighting anything, are you? Just because he's not constantly showing up doesn't mean he and I are on the rocks. Again, where's this coming from? Call it scientific curiosity. I won't even pretend I understand what you're getting at. I'm curious, that's all. I mean, you seem a lot happier lately. Can't I be curious about the person who's got you like that? I seem happier? Huh. I mean, yeah, I am happier, but is it really that obvious? Maybe Aki's only saying that because he already knows about me, though. I guess it's something to ask the others once Keisuke and I officially come out to them. Are you okay? You look lost in thought all of a sudden. I'm fine, you just gave me something to think about, that's all. Don't go overthinking things again, you always do that. I do not. You can't let yourself be happy for 5 seconds before finding some reason to panic and ruin it. That is because, historically, my moments of happiness tend to always be broken up by insane shit. It's like the universe has a sense of dramatic timing or something. I guess I'll try not to panic. Good, I'm gonna head to my room now, I need to finish my homework. You need any help? I'm good, it's all pretty easy. Okay, let me know if you need anything. Will do. Okay, I should probably take the cue to go to my room also. Not so much because of homework, but I did want to give Keisuke a call since we haven't talked all day today. Already finished up all the chores, done the dishes, and put away food, so unless I've majorly dropped the ball and forgot something, I should be all good. Alright, this shouldn't take too long. Neither Keisuke or I are the type to stay on the phone for hours on end. That's if he even picks up. Other than a basic good morning text, we haven't talked at all today. I don't know if he's busy. I pull up my chair sitting by my laptop and pulling out my phone to call him. It rings several times, leading me to believe he won't pick up. Hello? Just when I'm about to give up and shut it off, however, the call connects. Hey, I didn't think you were going to pick up.
Oh, Yuichi. Sorry, I had my earbuds on and didn't notice the phone for a second. Do you need something?
Not so much need something as I wanted to talk. We didn't get to see each other all day today.
Yes, I know. I am sorry for that. With vacation fast approaching as well as the studies I'm forced to take as company air, I have been left with precious little time to myself this week.
You don't have to apologize. You're not the only one who's busy. I just thought I should mention that I missed you today.
No, that's nice of you. I missed you also, of course.
Oh yeah, since you didn't go to practice today, I should let you know, Hayato-kun asked me to play a few sets with him. I felt bad for always saying no to people, so I agreed. Then it kind of snowballed, and most of the guys asked me to also play with them and give them advice.
Then all my hard work breaking down your reluctance to practice with others, they got to swoop in and reap the benefits of it.
Something like that. I hope that doesn't make you mad.
Mad? Why would it make me mad? You don't really think I'm that petty, do you?
Maybe. I don't know. I just wanted to tell you about my day.
Well, I am happy to hear about it.
The only problem for me is that, well, the guys got a lot more comfortable with me, so they kept coming up to me to chat, striking up conversation and seeming to hang around me more often than that. Okay, I'm not going to keep doing the radio voice.
Oh no, not socialization. That truly is a nightmare.
It wasn't the socializing part that was bad, it was, well, getting changed in the locker room with a bunch of dudes coming up to me while I'm half naked and stripping right next to me. While maintaining full eye contact, too.
Surely there are worse things in life than a little eye candy.
Yeah, well, I don't think they'd feel too comfortable if they knew I considered them eye candy.
Ha! Very true.
That said, I never noticed it before. Some of the underclassmen are seriously cute. Haotakun was all smiles and chatting with me. He's pretty cute, I won't lie.
Agreed.
Not gonna get upset with me for calling another guy cute?
Gotta be mad over the truth. Mirakun is cute.
Yeah, I thought you'd be okay with it, but I wanted to make sure.
Do be careful not to stare too much in the locker room from now on, though.
I won't stare.
It still warrants a warning.
No, it doesn't! Honestly, what kind of person do you think I am? I'm not going to gawk at my classmates in the changing room. That'd be so creepy. The absolutely unnecessary advice aside, that's most of what I did with my day. I mean, class is the same as always, so there isn't much to talk about that there. And you don't need to hear about my run to the grocery store.
Yeah, that's true.
What about you? What did you do today?
Other than studying most of the day, I was with the band helping them rehearse. There's a lot that needs to be worked on if they want to take part in the competition. It's happening during summer break, so it's kind of a big deal.
Man, your schedule really is packed beyond belief.
Tell me about it. At this rate, I think I might drop dead any second now from overwork.
Geez, that's dark, Kay.
Who would I be without a little dramatic flair?
A normal, fully functioning person?
Okay, yes, that is probably also a valid answer.
Hearing Keisuke's laughter from the other end of the phone brings a smile to my face. So strange how easy this all has gotten. To think it all felt so impossibly awkward and complicated when we first started dating. When I think about where we started, especially when we first met a year ago, and I thought of him as this impossibly stuck-up junior of mine whom Saya basically adopted for some reason. And then now, man, we've come a long way.
Still there?
Yeah, sorry, did you say something?
I asked if there was anything else you wanted to talk about, because if not, I really should get back to this.
I was just happy to hear your voice. At most, well, I don't know if you remember, but I brought up us telling people about us being in a relationship during the trip, at the very least our friends.
I remember.
Well, I wanted to confirm with you if that's okay. If it is, I kind of would like to do it soon. Even more if everyone happens to show up for lunch.
I don't mind it, though you probably have to do it without me then. I'll probably have lunch in my classroom while working on some of this stuff.
You'd be okay with that?
Of course, I don't need to be around for you to tell people. Like I said before, I truly don't mind either way.
Well, if you're sure.
I am sure. Why do you always tense up in these kinds of situations? It's not like you're expecting me to get mad and not believe in you when I say I'm not.
I'm not tense.
Yuichi, I can hear it in your voice. The way it cracks and goes up a notch is quite distinct.
Okay, maybe I'm a little tense. It's just, you're so reasonable.
You say I think it's a flaw or something.
It's not. I'm just not used to it. We're surrounded by a bunch of free-spirited people all the time. Can you blame me?
Yeah, I suppose not. Though I'd say Yurata and Mizuguchi-san are reasonable enough, even if they have their brief moments of insanity here and there.
Brief moments of insanity sure is a kind way to put it. Fair enough. Still, I appreciate the peace of mind.
Of course, I should get going now. Though, I'll speak with you later, okay?
Okay, have a good night, Kay. I love you.
You as well, on both counts.
Okay, that went pretty well. I'd have preferred for Keisuke to be around when I tell everyone, but if he's truly okay with it, I'd rather not wait any longer. Which means I need to prepare myself for it now. Time to psych myself up to tell all my friends that I'm dating a man. After I finished up my homework, that is. Time to finish up my homework and then I'll psych myself to come out of the closet to my friends. Yeah, that's more like it. Just have to hope I'll be able to focus. Once I got to school, the anxiety of knowing what I intend to do in a few hours begins manifesting as a kind of flutter in my stomach, not to mention this overwhelming need to stay on the move. Because of that, even though I got to my classroom early, after about 5 minutes of failing to stay quiet, I got back up and started walking up and down the stairs like some kind of lunatic. I was supposed to review my notes like I do every morning, but fuck me if I can sit still right now. Sure, I know my friends, I know there's no way they'd ever react negatively to the news, they're not that kind of people. But the thought of coming out to them is still equal measures exciting and terrifying. How do people do this? Even worse than this is thinking of telling Mom after having had Keisuke over at her place for so long. Hey, Mom. Hey, Mom. Remember that friend of ours that stayed at our place for weeks? Yeah, fucking him. That would surely go great. Then again, knowing my mom, she might ask me an insane question like, did you make sure to wear protection? Or something equally as perturbing. God, what is with my brain today? It's no big deal, just tell my friends, that's all. It's 3 people. 3 very important people. 2 of which I've known for 12 years and are my best friends in the whole world, 1 of which I'm going to move out of the country with once we graduate. God, no, it is a big deal. It is a very big deal. I need something to distract myself with. Thankfully, as if answering some kind of divine plea, my phone buzzes in my pocket, announcing a message. I grab it and open it in record time, not even caring who it is. Hell, I'll take spam mail right now. Even spam would be nice. I could read it 10 times over to make sure it really is spam. That would give me something to do. I'm gonna hydrate. Yuichi's just like me with the typing. He's just like me. And I hate it. I guess he does know me surprisingly well. Did he message me because he figured out I'd be freaking out? I mean, fair enough. He knows this is a bigger deal to me than it is to him, but still, I really appreciate it. And I do feel a bit better now. Maybe I can actually settle down and focus on something else. I'll take after Kay's example and go revise my notes before class starts. Even if I'm having trouble focusing, it's no excuse not to do it. Before long, the time I'm dreading finally arrived. Can't believe I'm saying this, but I wish classes would go on for longer. But unfortunately, I cannot infinitely postpone the thing that I am anxious about. If I could, life would be a true paradise. Put away my books and pull out my lunch. Sighing as I set it down on my desk and look around to see all my classmates either grouping up or walking out of the room to do whatever it is they do during lunch break. But I'm kind of hoping either Shoichi or Sai won't show up today so I can use it as an excuse to not have to go through with this. No, gross spine me! This was literally my idea. Is it just me or are the teachers dumping way more material on us lately? Oh yeah, I guess they are. They're probably trying to make sure they're done with the pre-vacation syllabus so we don't fall behind. I can barely keep up. Do you need a tutor or something? I could do it. No, it's fine. Whatever you say, just don't forget your midterm scores were like, okay? Might end up getting held back for summer school. No way, I won't! They'll have remedial classes in the week before vacation is due to start, so make sure you do well in those, otherwise that is a real possibility. I don't want to think about that. You're the one who brought our classes up. Plus, I would much rather think about this than what I've been thinking about. The tiger pulls his table next to mine, taking his usual seat on it. I'd much rather think about food, thank you very much. What are you having for your lunch? Rice, omelet, steamed vegetables, a few sausages, and some soup. Not bad, I made oyakodon last night, so I separated some of the chicken to stir fry with vegetables and whatnot for my Nanaki's lunches today. Your lunches are always pretty amazing, I'm jealous. Yours are nothing to sneeze at either, you're clearly a good cook. Well, I had to make do when I lived alone. You have a kitchen in your dorm room? There was a shared kitchen in the dorm building, so we used that. Not that many people cooked in the first place. Fair enough, I would feel awkward using a shared kitchen like that. I'm sure lots of people would leave their messes around for others to deal with. Nah, if they tried, admin would crack down on it really fast. Huh, that must have been nice at least. Or at least it seems to make the experience of living in a dorm a little less frustrating. But it's not like I've ever lived in a place like that myself, so I can't really comment on it. Osu! Osu. Osu! Oh god, it's spreading! There goes my excuse. Fancy seeing you here, stranger. At least I got to see Sai during practice. Morning to you too. Sorry, I had to skip so often this week. My schedule has been a mess. Life has been pretty hectic for everyone, so you're fine. Sai and Shoichi both grab a chair and quickly take their seats, wasting no time in unpacking their lunches. They must be really hungry. Maybe I should leave the news for after we've all eaten. I mean, it's only fair, right? You don't drop a topic like that before people even had the chance to eat their food. How pathetic am I right now? So, I'll just come out and say it, but because frankly I might chicken out otherwise. Say what? Yeah, why is your face all like that? Well, I've been sitting on some piece of news for a while now, kinda seeing where things went and whatnot before saying anything. Is this bad news? What? No, not at all. You should really work on your delivery. Oh, give me a break. How do you even say something like this? Just because I don't know how to say it doesn't mean... I mean, it's just... Yuichi, say it already, you're rambling. Right. So, I'm not single anymore, I guess. I see. So that's what this is about. That's all you guys have to say? No offense, but stuff like this is hardly ever news. If anything, I'm impressed you almost went a full year single. But considering how the last few years went, you spent more dating than not. Washo-chan said. It's not the same. Oh yeah, so who's this time's lucky gal? How long before you ghost this one too? I won't ghost him, and it's not a girl. I'm dating Keisuke, actually. Have been since the school festival. What did you say? And there it is. Once it's been said, there's no way I can take it back. So hopefully things go well. I know, it's probably unexpected. I wanted Kay to be here too when I told you guys, but he was busy. So he gave me the go-ahead to... God, what am I even saying? I just, I hope this doesn't change anything in how you guys see me, that is. Look at the faces of my friends, two of whom I've known for over a decade, and yet I have no idea what any of them are thinking. All I can see are their wide-open eyes. Saya, who had just picked up a piece of omelet with her chopsticks, fully drops him, the wooden sticks falling to the table and rolling onto the floor along with part of her food. June, who was already eating, freezes mid-chew instead. At least he's not choking. And Shoichi, out of everyone, his eyes are the widest. Is everything okay? I know something like this must be a shock. I mean, it was a shock for me too when I realized I swung that way. But I'm happy in a relationship for the first time, so I was hoping you guys would be happy for me too. I stumble through my word vomit session and still no one says a thing. The longer their silence lasts, the more nervous I feel. I get this is big news, but you guys are starting to freak me out. Someone say something, please! Oh man, that's... Wow. Congratulations, Yuichi-san. Jun is the first to snap out of it, blinking a few times and shaking his head as he snaps back to reality. I mean, I kind of thought you were maybe, but not that you and Keisuke-san were dating. Wait, you suspected I was like that? Yeah, I wasn't sure, of course. I just got a sense. I don't really know how to explain it. This is great news, though. I'm happy for you and Keisuke-san. Thank you, Jun, really. God, was it asking too much for that? Come on, you guys. Huh. Wow, congratulations. That's it? That's all you have to say? Yeah, what else is there to say? Congratulations and all. Sho-chan. You stand to look a bit more... I don't know. More? What's with the lukewarm reaction? I mean, hell, this is already a really big thing I just said. I had to work up the courage to do it. It's such a letdown if you act like you don't even care a little bit. Seriously, aren't you the least bit surprised or anything really? Yeah, super surprised. Like, wow. Dude, come on, give me something here. What do you want from me? I said congratulations. Leave me alone. Okay. That was really big news from Yuichi-kun. Let's not ruin a good moment by arguing. I'm really happy for you guys, really. I'll have to give Kei-kun my congratulations personally later. Yeah. You don't look the least bit happy for me. Get that it doesn't involve you and all, but you're my best friend. Can't you at least pretend? Fine. Thank you, Saya-chan. Guess I was getting all anxious for nothing. One of them doesn't even care. It's definitely strange to think about, though. I never thought I'd be in this kind of situation, and all of a sudden I'm happy. Me! Happy! Isn't that just insane? Insane. I mean, how many relationships have I been in up to this point? Have any of you ever heard me say I was happy, even in general, let alone a relationship? Yeah. I mean, it's great for you. I definitely wouldn't have expected it either. Damn, that's crazy. I know, I thought I was losing my mind at first. It didn't click for a while that I was developing, feelings. And it's not like there haven't been challenges, but I get, like, this flutter every time we talk. I'm excited to see him. I enjoy hearing him babble about things I don't understand just because he looks happy doing it. Like, holy crap, I never knew being in love with someone could feel like this. You sound like a teenage girl. I know! I mean, God, some of the thoughts that go through my head are so embarrassing. It's the kind of thing that, when I saw it in a TV show or an anime or something, I'd cringe and think to myself, that's a bit much, don't you think? Except now I'm the one thinking, saying that stuff! Disgusting. I know, right? It's so disgusting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Shoichi's hurting. Sho-chan. Actually, I should get going. I just remembered I have stuff to do. Huh? But... Best regards to you and Urushihara. Oh, this can only end badly. Before I could muster some kind of response, Shoichi has already clasped the lid back on his lunchbox and picked it up, not even bothering to repackage it in its cloth. Walking out of the room with a stony expression. Oh, was it because No, Sho-chan is going through a thing, that's all. Going through what? Oh. Oh! Oh, God! How could I have been so blind? Holy shit, am I stupid? It's so obvious! I can't believe I never noticed. Huh? Sure, so you've been staring me in the face the whole time. How Shoichi always gets a bit grumpy whenever I'm in a relationship. Needles me about them every so often, and the way you acted just now. You mean? Of course I mean. Shoichi's never had a single girlfriend before. Yet here I am having dated way too many, and now a guy. No wonder he's so jealous. I mean, it's like rubbing someone's face and how much water you have when they're dying of thirst. Then again, it's not my fault. He wouldn't have that kind of issue if he just managed his time better. It's like he's unpopular. He's had a handful of girls confessing to him over the years, too. But it always turns him down due to being so busy. Like, seriously, don't take it out on me just because you feel you can't date. Wow, that's something alright. Yeah, no, you nailed it. That's exactly it. Jeez, I should apologize to him later. I didn't even think... Better not. What? But... No, seriously. Don't. That's mean. I'm trying to be a good friend. I might be a little dense, but it's not like I don't care. Give me a chance to do better. Wow, that's a really nice looking lunch, Jun-kun. What did you make? It's no big deal, just a rolled omelet, some sausages, soup, veggies, oh, and the rice. Huh, you guys, that is so interesting. And did you put eggs in that? I did put eggs in that, but it wasn't. And what did you season your rice with? Did you use a salt? Yes, ma'am, a whole salt. Can we get back to my... And what about those sausages? Are they cut into an octopus shape? Mm-hmm. Fascinating! Okay, I get it. No one wants to hear my friend gush about how so in love they are. That was beautiful. That scene was beautiful. For the rest of our lunch break, I bit my tongue and avoided getting into the subject of me and Keisuke and how so happy I am now. Respecting their collective need to vomit over my new brand of crazy. So I want to talk about things, but even to me it's pretty obvious how hard they were working to steer me away from the subject, so I wasn't going to push. It's mostly Shoichi I'm worried about. Maybe I should talk to Kei about it later. He might have some insight on it I don't. By the time class is over, I mostly calmed down from my earlier high and gone back to normal. And as I'm grabbing my outdoor shoes by my locker, the sound of my phone ringing draws my attention. Fuck. I love how you can just read their previous texts. I love that. Well, I now have to bum some shampoo from someone since I don't carry any. Maybe I should grow a pair, stop complaining about being naked around people, and start bringing my own bathing supplies with me. Only in part because I don't want to leave practice with my boyfriend smelling like flowers or some shit while I stink. That must be a huge turnoff for him. That's something I'll have to get used to, I suppose. But I don't mind doing it for him. Just can't look around too much. I don't want to risk getting excited when I'm supposed to be changing or showering. That would be super disrespectful for everyone. Yeah, whatever. I'll worry about that after practice. Michibi-senpai, are you on your way to the club right now? That's right. Would it be okay for me to ask you to play this out with me too? I didn't get a chance to yesterday. Yeah, sure. I can do that kind of thing every day since I need to focus on my own practice, but I don't mind it every now and again. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm really not imagining it, huh? The difference in attitude after yesterday is enormous. Did something become more approachable somehow over something so trivial? It's nice, but man, I didn't expect such a huge shift. Guess being an upstanding senior for 2 days in a row can't hurt. fiddling with my phone and leaning against the school gate after hours, waiting for my date to show up. First, I worried I'd be late since several of my juniors stopped me when I was getting changed and showering wanting to talk. But it was a surprisingly nice experience. Coming to think of it, I used to do this kind of thing all the time when I was a kid, didn't I? Chatting with pretty much anyone at the club before, during, and after practice. I wonder when it was that I started clamming up like this. However, before long, I feel a tap on my shoulder causing me to look up.
Boo.
Oh no, a terrifying ghostly rabbit. I'm shaking.
I'm a hair, you ass. Don't call me ghosty simply because my fur is white.
The ghost talks!
Cut it out.
All done for today?
Yeah, I've been surprisingly busy with the band, but it's fun work, so I won't complain.
Shall we talk about it while we walk?
Yes, please, I've been craving some ice cream for a bit now.
I really do like ice cream, huh?
Who doesn't? It's a delicious treat.
You know what? Fair enough, I'll let him have that. So, what was today like? You said you were busy.
Right, summer break is a very busy time for extracurriculars in general, and lots of events are scheduled for during it for better attendance. Music events in particular.
Makes sense unless you're running a regular event several times a year. You'd rather pick the time when you'd have more chance of getting attendance.
Yes, exactly. Of course, it only makes it tougher for student bands since they have to work extra hard during the end of a term to prepare for it.
By that same vein, don't the adult bands participating have to prepare while also working their full-time jobs? How many workplaces give you summer vacation in the first place? Unless you're a teacher or something, and it's not like most people can make a living out of music.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. That's a good point.
Did you didn't say high schoolers are self-absorbed after all? For good or bad, we don't really know what it's like to work for a living yet.
Now you're sounding like an old man. Are you sure we're the same age?
We'll only be the same age for a couple more weeks.
Ah, that's right. You'll be 19 soon. It's so mature.
I'm the maturest one, don't you know? If you're laughing, that must mean you agree with me.
Is that what laughter means? I was not made aware.
But of course, my dear Kay, it is the only reasonable explanation.
I sound like you're coming straight out of a cheap novel.
I'd make a good protagonist, don't you think?
Don't flatter yourself.
Flatter myself? You don't think I'd do good at it?
I don't think you'd want that kind of spotlight on you in the first place.
Oh, good point. Never mind then. After following Keisuke for a few minutes, we finally reach his preferred ice cream spot. First thing I feel is a cool air conditioning blowing against my fur the moment we walk inside. This is heaven!
It's been a little while since I've dropped by. I'm kind of excited.
You're way too excited for ice cream.
Why shouldn't I? It's a perfect summer treat.
You're not wrong, just too hyped up.
Shush! I'm allowed to enjoy myself.
Given how close to a school this place is, I'd have expected it to have more people inside. There's only, what, half a dozen or so? Granted, this is pretty fancy as far as ice cream shops go, so maybe I shouldn't be too surprised. Keisuke wastes no time getting to the front counter, picking up a serving cup and looking over the available flavors with a glint in his eye. Honestly, even just seeing him like this already makes it worth it. I don't give much thought to what I pick myself, ending up with just a couple scoops of vanilla and chocolate ice cream both. Keisuke, on the other hand, seems to go for a mix of matcha, sakura, and chestnuts. Seriously, how refined can your tastes get? You're a walking, talking stereotype, you know that. And God, do I love you for it.
Good haul.
Are you skipping?
Maybe. What's it to you?
Since I got less than I did, I had finished weighing my cup a little earlier than Keisuke. As I already expected at this time, and since I haven't spent my last few allowances in much, the price doesn't bother me as much this time. However, when Keisuke's turn comes, his smile quickly turns into a frown the moment he sees the number flashing on the scale.
Right, I forgot.
It is only then that I remember. Keisuke's family basically cut his access to his money, didn't they? Oh shit, did you not think of that before coming here? Hair fidgets uncomfortably, though thankfully out of sight of the cashier who is logging the price on a little electronic card as he hands out. Already got in mind, but quickly step in front of Keisuke to intercept. Oh, I'll take that. Forgot to ask you to put both on the same tab, sorry. No worries, sir.
Yuichi.
It's alright, come on, let's sit down. I'll lead Keisuke to a booth at one of the far edges of the shop, somewhere where he doesn't need to worry too much about others seeing the look on his face.
I'm sorry, I didn't even think...
Don't worry about it, it's not a big deal.
But now that my money's been taken away, I'm starting to realize a lot of my tastes are quite expensive, aren't they? You said so when we came here months ago, too.
It's a bit on the pricier side, but I don't mind it once in a while. I was already prepared for it anyway.
You're too nice. I feel like I keep taking advantage.
If I didn't want to pay for yours, I would. Now eat it before it starts to melt.
Thank you.
Although he seems a bit hesitant, Kay still makes the effort to try and enjoy the ice cream he had been looking forward to for so long, even if it's clear he's a little shaken up. Who'd have thought such a banal, everyday interaction could get him so much? I guess he really never had to worry about whether he'd have enough money to pay for something, so having it be a block to something he does often is bound to have him feeling some kind of way. So, what was it you were saying about your band stuff?
There's not much more to it. You're checking out the designs for the band uniforms, working on the set list, checking our instruments, that kind of thing. Most of my time there is spent giving input on what songs they should go for or pointing out when someone is off key.
Seems like you do a lot there. Are you sure you wouldn't rather be performing?
Yeah, it might sound fun, but I really don't have the skills for it.
You think so? People really liked your singing during the school festival.
Now it's fun, but I don't know. I simply don't have the confidence for that kind of thing. A supporting role is much more my style.
As long as you're doing what you really want to do, I guess that's fine.
Yeah. Either way, there's no point about talking about things that will never happen. Better to focus on something more reasonable.
I nod along to his words as we fall into a moment of brief silence. Then that I, somewhat uneasily, remember the one thing I thought of yesterday that I absolutely need to talk to Keisuke about. Might be a bit of a hard 180 on the conversation's mood, but I don't want him to feel like I made an empty promise either. It's okay, there's something I promised I'd talk to you about. I promised I'd explain more about Tanabe and I once I had some time to think things through, didn't I?
Oh.
Right away, Keisuke puts down his spoon, straightens himself on his seat, and looking me right in the eye. It's almost a little intimidating how much of his attention is suddenly being devoted to me right now. I feel put on the spot even though I did this to myself. I said I'd answer your questions, so ask away.
Well, for starters, what exactly happened between the two of you? He acted quite familiar with you when we met. And then there was the way he seemed to fuss over you during finals. You said he was a rival, but it seemed like more.
You're not wrong. Tanabe-kun and I met when I was, 8 or 9. At first, he was just a guy I'd play against often. Started looking forward to our matches because no one else could get my blood pumping like he could. After a while, we started chatting and hanging out during competitions whenever we ran into each other. That developed into exchanging contact information, texting each other, calling, that kind of thing. After a few years in, he and I would travel semi-frequently to visit each other. He spent nights at my place and I did the same at his. I always enjoyed the time we spent together. It was nice to have a friend I could compete with that way.
And that's all there was to it?
As I'm sure you've already guessed, it's complicated.
Do tell.
After a while, I looked forward to hanging out with Tanabe more than I did our matches, which was right around the time I hit a slump. I don't know which came first. Maybe I really did get distracted from tennis, or maybe I was overcompensating from frustration. I don't even know anymore. All I know is getting to see Tanabe would be my favorite part of every competitions. The weekends when we'd visit each other every month were the thing I looked forward to the most. The messages we exchanged every day were my favorite part of my day. When I think about it like that, I'm pretty sure I might have developed feelings for him along the way, but I mean, I was a dumb teenager. I had no idea what it was. I thought I just really liked my friend.
So you're in love with him?
I don't know if it was love. It might have been simple infatuation. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said there wasn't something there.
Then what went wrong?
I was so drunk on the feeling of it all, I didn't realize that to Takagi-kun seemed like something else entirely. To him, I was a rival he always wanted to surpass but couldn't. If all of a sudden the person you look to the way stops practicing with you as much, stops talking about tennis, only wants to joke around and have fun, you'd think they were letting up, of course. Or worse, they were looking down on you. Of course, you can't really speak as to what Takagi-kun thought at the time. Based on what he said the last time we met, I got the idea it was something like that. I might have felt I wasn't invested in tennis anymore, or that I didn't think he was worth putting too much effort into. Either way, seeing him slowly catch up to me made me feel really inadequate. I didn't want to face up to it, so I got more and more frustrated, but I tried hiding it since I didn't want to upset him, which of course backfired. He called off our friendship, and the shock of that made me shut down for a long time. Honestly, I didn't realize how badly it affected me until recently, or maybe I didn't want to realize.
I see.
God, that's a lot to get out of my chest. I went years trying my best not to think about it, probably because the truth is so unpleasant to face.
That's a lot.
I know, it's years worth of baggage after all.
I suppose I can understand why you're so shaken up when he approached us. It's definitely not the most pleasant situation to be in.
For sure. Keisuke crosses his arms, looking at me for several seconds as if considering something.
I can't say I definitely understand the nature of your relationship better now. The one thing I'm still unsure of, however, is whether you still have feelings for him.
What, me for Takagi-kun? That's... no way.
You say that as if the idea were crazy, but you did have feelings for him, no?
I suppose it feels like a million years ago, but if I'm perfectly honest, I do think he's really hot nowadays, but that's about it. The idea of thinking of him in a romantic sense seems really weird to me now.
Hot, huh?
Was I not supposed to say that? We've been telling each other whenever we think someone is, so I thought...
It's fine, I don't mind it.
Really?
Well, maybe a little. The idea of you thinking a guy you used to be in love with is hot isn't that surprising, but it does bother me a little. Only a little, though.
Sorry.
Don't apologize, I wanted to know and now I do. You gave me exactly what I asked for. Thank you for that. It can't have been easy for you to talk about.
It really wasn't. Kay leans forward over the table to grab my hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze.
I appreciate it, Yuichi. It's good to know I wasn't crazy.
On the other hand, I'm the one who feels crazy.
That's bound to pass, you're not crazy. How could someone who never even considered the possibility that their sexuality is anything other than hetero to be equipped with that kind of thing? At, what, 14?
Give or take.
See, give yourself some credit. At least you managed to reflect on it and realize what happened.
Thanks for understanding.
Of course.
Kay picks up a spoon again, eating some more ice cream before pointing it at me, a cheeky smile on his face.
But enough of that. I don't want our little date to be all gloomy. You told our friends about us, right? How did that go?
Oh yeah, there's that.
It's a pretty big part of our day part of your day that you haven't talked about yet.
It's because so much happened after that that it was pushed to the back of my mind.
You said they didn't care about it?
More or less, yeah, but it was weird.
How so?
Shoichi and Sai acted really weird. They were silent for the longest time, which I guess is fair. Then Shoichi completely shut down. He kept nodding along whenever I talked or seemed really bitter. Then he randomly grabbed his food without taking a single bite out of it, made some lame excuse, and left.
That is strange, I'll give you that.
It wasn't until I thought about it more that it kind of clicked in my head. I mean, I was gushing to a disgusting degree. All three of them were a little annoyed by it, but I guess it must have been harder for Shoichi.
Oh?
Well, I've been in quite a few relationships, right? Even if they never went anywhere. That is much as an undeniable fact. And Shoichi has had a couple girls confess to him before, but he always turned them down since he had no time for relationships. Don't you think you might also feel bitter if you spent so long single because you're too busy and your friend who's been in a bunch started gushing about his new partner?
That somehow does not sound right to me.
Well, what other explanation could there be? Shoichi's always been a bit weird whenever I started dating. Getting shorter with me, quieter, not talking as much, avoiding me whenever I was hanging out with the girls I was dating, and he did the same thing now.
So it's a recurring issue?
Now that I think about it, yeah, pretty much. Sai-chan seemed to know about it too, since she kept looking at him and even diffused the situation when I got a bit heated, and asked him about what his problem was.
That is... I see.
What?
It's nothing, probably nothing anyway, not worth talking about.
Why don't you enlighten me about it?
Didn't I say there's no point in talking about things that won't come to pass? That also includes talking about baseless conjectures.
You're going all formal on me again.
That's because you're asking me to talk about a pretty outlandish and unfounded thought that popped into my head. I told you, there's no reason talking about something like that. If I ever think it's actually relevant, I'll talk about it.
You know, we have a lot of time in our conversations if instead of telling me over and over that something isn't worth being talked about, simply answer my questions and talked about it.
You'd also save a lot of time if you didn't keep asking me about things that aren't worth talking about. So what's your point?
That's just a circular argument at that point. It's not worth talking about because it's not worth talking about, it kind of thing.
It is ultimately up to me to decide which of my thoughts is worth discussing after all.
I sigh, pinching the bridge of my nose and gently rubbing my fingers against my forehead. Alright, you can say whatever you like. Just stop with all the fancy schmancy wording. It's getting on my nerves.
Fair enough.
Other than that, yeah, not much happened. After Shoichi left, I tried asking more about it, but Sai and Jun-kun kept changing the subject, so I figured they didn't want to hear me gush anymore.
I can't quite blame them. I wouldn't want to either.
Hey!
Sorry, I'm merely being honest.
There's such a thing as too much honesty.
If you say sorry, at least relieved now that it's no longer a secret.
Yeah, lots. Thanks for letting me do this.
That's not something you should need to thank me for. It's a given.
Doesn't seem like such a given to me, but I appreciate the sentiment all the same. Yeah, that reminds me, Aki was asking after you yesterday.
He was?
Yeah, seems he was worried about how you'd been, since he knew you were staying at our place and all.
Ah, that is quite nice of him. Not to worry, though. I am doing well as can be expected given the situation.
You say not to worry, but that isn't the most reassuring thing to hear.
It's fine, Yuichi. For good or bad, I'm used to handling my family. There's nothing new to me.
Boy, you suck at reassuring people.
Caught you distracted.
My ice cream! Nair takes my momentary distraction to dip a spoon in my cup, stealing a spoonful of my chocolate ice cream and placing it in his mouth, smiling all delighted like,
It's so good.
You're dead to me.
Don't be like that. Here, you can have some of mine. Say, ah.
Hell no, I don't want any of the flavors you picked.
That's so? More for me, then.
You bitch, you know I wouldn't want them.
Me? Perish the thought. How could you ever think I'd dip so low?
I swear to God, if you were my boyfriend, I wouldn't let this slide. What about you, though? Anything new on your end?
Nothing worth mentioning. You know what my schedule has been like, and you know what my home life is like.
So, are there no improvements on that end? It's so creamy.
Pigs would sooner fly.
You really are a pessimist.
Not at all. I like to think of myself as a strict realist.
I'll have to think of some way to help him out. Maybe I should reach out to Alexander. Even if being around him still makes me feel a bit uneasy. He's probably my best bet right now for figuring something out. Keisuke and I spent a few more minutes goofing off and enjoying our ice cream before he excuses himself, having to call for a car to pick him up. Given how things have been for him lately, I can only imagine how much trouble he'd get in for staying out late, so I don't hold it against him. If anything, I'm surprised he didn't get into more trouble for hiding away at my house for so long. Or maybe he simply didn't talk to me about it. Keisuke is surprisingly difficult to get a straight answer out of when it comes to these kinds of things. Is there really nothing I can do about it? Ugh, this kind of thing is so outside my pay grade. I have no idea where to even start. For now, I should probably focus on clearing my schedule first so I can think things over without any schoolwork looming over me. Then I can dedicate myself to thinking of a solution to this. Yeah, that's probably for the best. And I need to remember which one it is. Yeah, it's that one. Ah, my back! Anyways, we're gonna try to outrun the ad. We're gonna outrun the ad. Stay safe. Fuck. Damn it. Fuck off. Maybe later. Okay, we gotta be quick. Stay safe. Have a good night. And I will see you all tomorrow.